put this content out, feed the viewers. Oh, by the way, hello viewers, another beautiful day. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. Yep. Alright, now let's see. RADV driver now emulates ray tracing by default for older AMD GPUs for a new game. Says your Mesa Radeon Vulkan driver is now exposing its emulated ray trace support by default for older AMD Radeon GPUs, even without any form of hardware accelerated ray trace in order to run the new Indiana Jones game. It turns out even emulated RT mode is fast enough to allow various older AMD Radeon graphics card to be playable with this title. And then it says Natalie Vaughn has landed the change to expose the emulated Vulkan ray tracing extension by default when running Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. TGC Indiana Jones and the Great Circle was released for Windows back in December and powered by a motor engine. It requires ray trace support in terms of RADV. Emulated support is good enough for allowing older GPUs to enjoy this action-adventure game. And then it says Vaughn explained the merge request. Various people have been playing Indiana Jones, The Great Circle with RADV perf test, emulate RT GFX GF910 RT. Support is required to launch the game and perform is okay even with emulation, so enable it by default to make the gameplay for everyone running older GFX8-10 GPUs. AMD GFX8 is for the Polaris GPU along with the Volcanic Islands and Arctic Islands. Amazing to see AMD Radeon RX 480 580 Polaris GPU still working for newer games on Linux. AMD says here this change is now in Mesa 25.1 devel, while those on current Mesa release with older Radeon GPU can also set the RADV perf test equals RADV underscore perf test equals emulate underscore ray trace RT environment variable to achieve the same behavior. Yeah, AMD folks. So yeah, this is good news for you Steam Deck users too. So yeah, have fun with your Indiana Jones. Now we got some comments in the comment section. Let's see what the politician's talking about here. Let's see here. Who is this? 666 said, MRG said this. Fantastic development. Sort of hacking binaries. This could not have been done without open source development. Linux is awesome. And let's see here. I am honestly impressed how well the emulated ray trace work. Ray trace Quake is almost playable on an RX 480 with it. With upscaling, it reach about 20 FPS. And then V1 said this. What CPU do you have? I wonder if soft RT with my 5950X could be faster than hardware in my RX 6800 XT. And then who is this? Annex said this. It doesn't use the CPU. That would be even slower than the worst Radeon. It just uses shader code for ray trace, else it would have to transfer two data between CPU and GPU. Yeah, these guys know their stuff. So, and then V1 said this. Got my curiosity. Found quarter 2 RTX on my Steam and did some tests with native RT. I have 46 to 50 FPS in 2K without upscaling. With emulated, I get 21 to 25 FPS with the same settings, and games eat 100% of one core. For that, I assume it does CPU emulation. I was wrong. And then V said this. This is inaccurate. It will work fine on Vega or newer, but won't work on older GPUs without the fix in Mesa 25.1. And then Annex said this. It's also requires a BF16 support, but can be emulated too. Don't know how much performance would suffer. Now who else is this? Bill said this. Currently Mesa 25.0 24X should work too. The game works with Vega to R5XXX. If you set RADV pretest dash emulate, and then RT again, only GFX8, and then he says in parentheses R9 Fury, RX480, RX580, close parentheses, our older is not working. The patch do two things: enables emulate RT for the game by default on GFX8 through GFX10, and then enable FP16, enable frames per second 16 support for the game on GFX8. And then it says with 25.1 GFX8 card can also play this game. And then who else is this? Who is this? Civ said this: for getting FP16 common solution is in using FP32. Yeah, the AMD, man, these guys know their stuff. And then who else is this? And then Bag said this: if MGPU configuration can be brought back, I think this development would be particularly useful, where you could have one of these outdated GPUs basically as an RT accelerator, or better yet, an iGPU. Perhaps something like FSR would be a little more practical, since that really more of a post-processing thing. And who else is this? Soph said this: I would not emulate Jack. Looking at the video of this on YT on YouTube, and knowing how great the indie films were, I think one would be much better off just buying a console and hooking that up to a big screen TV. See? And then who's this? Wall said this: It's just so happened I saw this game myself on an RX 5700 XT. It really runs remarkably well with ray tracing emulation on Linux. This is a fantastic technical achievement, unlike the game rendering itself, which just looks bad versus Hellblade 2 with SWRT lumens, and this runs on any half decent GPU without jumping through emulation hoops or absurd video RAM processing issues. Well, the debaters shared their thoughts, but yeah, RADV is a bad boy, man. Yeah. Yeah. So this is good news for you older GPUs though. So have fun with this. Have fun. Give it a go and see what you think. But yeah, RADV, man, and that and let's not forget Vulkan. Yeah. Those two. Yeah. They make games run nice on Linux laptop, desktop, and of course the Steam Deck. So, oh yeah. But Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Work on those cards that they mentioned. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy though. Nice talking to you people again. Crystal, Star Wars, Star Trek, Thing, Borg, Dark Side. Go. Peace.